Hello.
Yeah, whoa, the real content creator.
Absolute what?
This is gonna be high quality stuff right here.
The best.
Welcome to the Pod of Desires. The funny thing is, actually, last time that you were on my vlog, I had you on Facebook, and I knew your name was Bohdan from Kai and Andy and so forth. But then because your Facebook said Bohdan,
Have you seen my jersey? It's somewhere here.
I literally put it on the vlog like Bohdan, and they were like, "Who's Bohdan?"
This is a crazy one. So I sent Jesse, the team owner, my first jersey has my proper name, right?
Okay.
First name, correct?
Yeah.
Last name, Facebook name. So it's, yeah, I'm
show it to the camera.
I'm slowly like merging into one entity.
yeah.
But it's like,
One day it'll be.
it's
be
the
correct.
worst. Well, some people see me on Facebook, and they're like, yeah, Bohdan. They don't know who I am.
Yeah.
But like they know who Bohdan is.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't get it. You know what I mean? Like, how does that make sense? It's the same with Nishad Seabass, right? Some people only know him as Seabass, which is crazy.
Have you considered changing the name on Facebook?
No comment.
We need to know though, what is actually your name?
Bohdan.
Bohdan. Yeah.
Bohdan, yeah.
Yeah, that was what. But on Facebook it said that. It was like maybe it's a weird spelling.
There was a point where this is funny. So my dad has the same name as me, and my mom really hated my dad when I was growing up. So when I went to school, my name was Bohdan without the H. So we didn't have the same name.
Oh my god.
So for like a solid chunk, and like when I was a misfit teenage YuGiOh duelist on like Duelist Grounds, all the stupid shit, when everyone just acts like a fool on the internet in like early 2000s.
Yeah, of course.
I was Bohdan without the H.
Yeah.
And when I went to get like identification,
Yeah.
so it was like you have to have your legal name, all this stuff. I'm like, oh shit, like I guess my name does have a H.
Yeah.
So
you forgot.
I forgot, but no, but
Almost.
it made the biggest issue like for government documents. And
Yeah.
stuff. It's like, oh, you spelled your name incorrectly. Like you can't get this, and this. I'm like, I guess, can you fix it? Like, yeah, it's not that much of an issue. I was like, shit, all right. So yeah, now it's been
That's
Bohdan
wild.
for the last however many years. Man.
Okay,
So.
but so now you're Bohdan. I'll make sure.
Bohdan with a H, yeah,
With an
yeah,
H,
with
that's
yeah.
important.
Some
All
people
right.
still have it without. Jeff still calls me Bohdan without the H. Autocorrects in his phone too. It's sick. I hate it. It's
Very
so bad.
nice.
It's so bad.
Very nice. So that actually gets under your skin.
Not only because of like how much effort I had to go to fix
yeah,
it. But,
okay.
Otherwise, I don't really
Makes
care.
sense.
No.
All right. So we know each other, like indirectly because of Kai and Andy,
Yeah.
right? So the competitive Vanguard scene, let's say.
Yeah, it's alarming that's just how it works.
Yeah.
Because they just played Yu-Gi-Oh, right?
Yeah.
Kai stopped playing Yu-Gi-Oh probably like 15, 16-ish years ago. And Andy plays Yu-Gi-Oh on and off, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, we'll go to locals. It's like, oh, they're playing Vanguard. It's like, these are all the people that I grew up with playing Yu-Gi-Oh. It's like, I'll watch them play. They play like the Y Schwartz, like all of those games, right? And that's like, oh yeah, this is Max. One of my friends was like, Max is like the best Vanguard content creator. I was like, And it made more sense when I saw like, here's Andy's profile pic. There's Max. I'm like,
Oh yeah.
okay, well, I guess this makes sense. It's like, who would have thought like all the good Vanguard players, just like the good Yu-Gi-Oh players, are all just like in the same circles. It's like, it's easy then.
Yeah. And for people who want to see the profile picture, it's up here. It's very, very pleasing.
That one.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
Usually the way I structure the podcast is like, first we go with the news, then we go with the guest, which is you, and then we go with the game. The news, basically, not much has happened, I think, but the big highlight is we're now at 250 at YCS.
This will be the first one that finishes, I think, based on time zones.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah.
USA's still going, and like,
Yes.
it should be done soon.
Yeah. So any thoughts about that?
It's what I expected.
Yeah.
I don't think you can really. So like, I knew a deck. So like, you see Dinkabui, right? So he's playing Runic for hire.
Yeah.
I think that deck is insane. Like, all those cards are really good. All those cards do like multiple things, and people don't know what they do. And Dinkabui literally lives off decks like that.
Yeah.
Right? But I think like anyone could have played that deck. Maybe not to the same extent, but like I think it still would have ran deep in the tournament and sort of functioned the same way. I think the format's wide enough where strategies like that, where all the cards are really good and all of the cards like do multiple things, they present quite well.
Yeah.
At the same time, we watch Kashtira. We're literally standing outside of the venue watching Kashtira just like do Kashtira things.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
So it's like, how do you account for everything?
can't.
You can't. But now we're here.
Yeah.
What's Samir playing? You know?
Samir's playing Sprite.
Sprite. Okay. And Sprite was like obviously like the hot pick going into this event. Like it's just been publicized. I've seen way more Melfi Sprite than I have like most other decks, which is weird because like Dinkan Fam is like a relatively new like content creator as well, and he's just been like grinding regionals. It's like, oh, Melfi Sprite, and he set the standard. Like
I think the reason for that is that even through tier he was stopping with Sprite, right? So like he played it like so many YCSs in a row, even
dedicated.
And so you have all these like you have a Facebook group called Sprite Duelists, and he's like
you have those every deck, which is
but he's like the god in that group now. Oh, he did something.
Those groups, while they're good, oh my god, they're like a cult. Almost.
Yeah, I know. I'm in Tierleman's Duelists. We're all coping every single day.
Literally every. So like, I'll join them sometimes, like try and get ideas for like decks that I enjoy.
Yeah, of course.
And you just see people, and I just talk about this. It's the same thing every single time. They have this one thought process, and it never breaks. But they'll always have like one person at like the top.
Yeah.
And they're like, this is the guy. This is a definitive guy.
Yep.
And my goal for some of those is when someone thinks they're like the best at that deck.
Yeah.
I really want to play that deck and just like crush an event with it, because like, I just know like they're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
And it's like if they don't want to listen, it's like I just have to show you. And that's only happened like once or twice. Like Alter Guys is like one of those ones. It's like probably the best one. Everyone thought I was doing Alter Guys wrong. I was like, oh, you'll see. It's fine.
Look at me now, bitch. Yeah. I think the reason is really because like he's just been topping it over and over with Sprite, and
it's
now
good. He's consistent.
Yeah,
of
course.
The European Worlds Race, just killing it.
Yeah,
like,
great
fine,
player.
no?
YCS 250. Personally, I was like, I didn't enter now because I fucked up my deck registration, naturally. But I was like, there's nothing I can do here. Like I will play Cash and I will hate my life, and I will maybe.
Everyone felt that way. It's the same thing. It's like I think you have to accept like you are probably going to lose rounds just like by design of the game. And that's what happened to me. I look at Joshua Schmidt's Swiss breakdown. He versus a lot of Kashtiro. I made some decisions in my deck assuming there was a lot of Kashtiro. Did I verse Kashtiro? No, I didn't verse any. Did I play all of the 12 rounds? No. And I was X2 like by like round 6 or whatever. But you assume you're going to verse some in the beginning, even some later. Like X2 bracket, I was looking at my left and right. It's like Kashtiro. So I put 3 Econ in my side deck. Could have been Nibiru. The decks I lose to just lost to Nibiru. I was like, well, I guess. And that's just like the luck of the draw, right? That's just like large tournament, wide format. You really just have to get, the good pairings, the good matchups, everything. So it's like, but logically, you should play the most consistent deck when it comes down to that, right? It's like
that's cringe. I'm playing Scareclaw. 60
well, like if you're not gonna have fun, then you just don't play Yu-Gi-Oh, right? That's like the Vlad logic. It's like the old logic. You were like, oh, like if I'm not gonna have fun playing this event, like why would I play the main? You could play Publix.
I had so much fun. Yeah. I played the Publix with this deck. Yeah. And every time people would go like, how many cards is that? 60. Yeah. And then they go, oh, what could it be? And they're already losing because they're just fucking afraid of whatever this thing is going to be.
I just assume when I see decks like that, I'm like, that's 60 cards.
It's going to be cope.
when it's like a pile of cards and it's not double sleeved.
Yeah.
I always have to assume it's 60. I don't even have to ask.
Yeah.
I just know it's 60. Yeah. Right? And it's the best feeling though. I love
For me, it was double sleeved.
When it's when it's double sleeved, it's way more obvious, right?
Yeah.
But like even like a 40 card deck double sleeve, you think it's 60.
Yeah.
That's like that's the funny thing with the double sleeving rule. It's like I'm like, shit, is that 60? You're playing a 60 card deck, and like they just do normal things. Like they might activate upstart or something. Yeah. That's not fucking 60.
Yeah, exactly. Or they might be, and they're on some.
That was a thing. That was like a logic in those like snow decks. Like, you play upstart, you cycle, it's just card you can banish for snow.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's like a dumb quote where Jeff like made fun of me. And he's like, gold sock is. I said gold sock is upstart for snow, and my logic was just like, you activate a spell, it's trading for a card, and it's a card engraving banish for snow.
Yeah.
In like a 60 card Despia deck, and like obviously it's not the case.
Yeah.
But,
because you activate a tragedy and stuff.
Yeah, pretty much. Like it trades for itself, puts a card engraving, banish it for snow. Oh. It's good against prankers. That was the logic at the time.
Did it work?
I think that deck made the finals of a YCS. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it lost to Sky Striker, but it was like the 60 card Lightning Storm, like Desires sort of deck, and like it would just activate gold, so activate this. I don't even think it played Snow actually. It might not have played Snow.
How would you not play Snow in a 60 card branded deck? Was it not legal or?
No, it was because it was legal at the beginning, and they played the base deck.
Yeah.
And they had like all of that stuff, and then it was legal until tier. I think it might have. It was like the light target.
Yeah.
That was like because that was like the Jesse standard like light target.
Yeah. It was Snow or Nib or something.
Some people did like incredible Ecclesia. That was a weird one because you could always add it back.
Yeah.
And you summon it. No. Yeah. I don't know. That deck sucked. I don't know what to say. That deck just wasn't very good. It looked fun though, but
at 60, sometimes you don't even see all your engines.
Yeah.
My opponent in game 2 saw Scareclaw, sides in Shifter, Shifters me in Drawface, and I just play Kashtira.
Yeah.
It was
that's always the nice one. But like obviously if you see like Despia and you see stuff like that, it's always like because the engine's so big on its own.
Yeah.
And then you just want to go over so you can have like the non-engine.
Yeah.
Non-engine for like that deck was like 3 copies of Allure, and then you had like all of like your other cards, like maybe you played Cross Out, maybe you played Lightning Storm, stuff like that. So
but that's not real non-engine, right? Because it's just like, not doing
it's like,
anything.
It's not doing anything, kind of. That's like all non-engine, right? Like
no, I mean like the
Allure specifically. Yeah, no, Allure is essentially engine at that point, but it's like it's non-engine when it's like you want to get your deck close enough to 40. It's like you're taking 3 real cards out, putting 3 Allure in to accelerate to Branded Fusion. It's like you usually don't have room. You probably can't do it. But.
Yep. In terms of news, I guess the other thing is like we're getting Nats soon, and for you guys, it's what's it
State Championship.
State Championship. Are you going to be in Cyberstorm Access format or?
My intel, which means nothing, is assuming it might be pre. I think
pre. So it's the same format.
I think so. Because I think. Based on like how all the WCQs are like distributed and how invites will work.
Yeah.
The New Zealand one got announced. I think it's like June something. Actually, Cyberstorm Access is end of May, right? We might have Cyberstorm Access legal.
It's beginning of May. I think it's May 7 or something.
Is this Philadelphia format?
I don't know.
Because they moved Philadelphia, so that's probably.
I'm not going to every YCS. I'm not.
No. Well, yeah, it's sad for everyone that booked a flight and then they changed the date, but no.
Yes. I mean, Cyberstorm though. Have you thought about anything there yet, or were you focused on this format?
Well, no, like I as focused as I can be on this format, but then you play the Cyberstorm cards and they also like creator card outlandish, right? Super heavy samurai cards, stupid as shit.
Yep.
Like enables FTK, enables like this crazy like end boards. And then all the new branded cards I think are really good too.
Yep.
They just let you do more, and it's like obviously like the new synchro and all that stuff.
You play without Ash sometimes.
You just get to play Yu-Gi-Oh multiple different ways. That's really cool. But the problem will still always be how like cash full power, like everything's still full power. So it's like all these new cards elevates your deck, but you're still like sort of at the same level against like high full power cash, like all these other full power decks like Runic and everything else. I think Japan hit Runic. They did, but it was like a really, really soft hit.
Did they?
Out into 2, yeah. A super soft hit.
It's weird how it's not running wild there then. Like
they don't like Runic. There was
they only play Runic Stun.
Yeah, there was like a weird thing. They don't use Runic as like another engine, alongside something else. I think a lot of it comes down to like usually when you want to use those cards to sort of enable like the sprite cards, it'll eat a maxi and then it sort of like trades really poorly. So you'll probably want something like a little bit more high value. They also like playing less control, more aggressive. So unless it's like Vlad said, like the stun deck, right? Yeah. They would rather just like normal summon a guy, overlay. They have the option to OTK or like put some damage in, which is weird because of how the time rules work. Like the tournament structure makes me think maybe a control deck with like TCG plays it might be better there than it is here even. So it's kind of interesting, but it's like I don't know. Like so okay, when you play Vanguard and all of like the sort of the Bushiroad games, are they any different from like gameplay perspective when you look at like Japanese players versus like Western players? People
will say that they will go like, yeah, Japan just likes to play blah blah blah, and I'm like, we're just the same humans.
Yeah, because like, you play the same format as well, right?
Well, kind of. The thing is,
you have 2 options.
Our ban list split at one point, so now there's
still Japanese and English, or is that only for one of the?
No, it's Japanese and English. It's separate, so it's literally OCG, TCG.
Yeah,
only.
Sure.
Yeah,
but you have the option to play Japanese format, right?
No.
Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah, no. I mean, I guess some people in Asia can. If you're like in Singapore, you can choose to play Japanese or English.
Because I know like at locals they would play Japanese format sometimes. Like,
that's
looking at the cards, and I can look at the numbers. I'm like,
11,000. That's crazy.
It's like that's the thing. Like I think people they're like, oh, all these OCG players are so good, and it's like, yeah, but like, why would they be any better than some of the really good TCG players? Yeah, you know what I mean? Like different tournament strategy. I feel like TCG players probably play more games than OCG players anyway.
It's probably because people are coping on the fact that Japanese players have won like more worlds or something along those lines, and they're like, oh, so clearly then one event is representative of everything.
You just need like a nicer tournament structure for Worlds that isn't, you know, very, very swayed in favor of Japan. Like maybe Pokemon or like, and literally any other card game, right? Like Pokemon's the same thing. It's like an OCG, TCG, but it's more like a gap, and then the game plays out the same way anyway. But it's like, I never see Japanese people run super deep in Pokemon. So like Australian people win the Pokemon World Championships.
Oh yeah, Henry Brand,
the
other day.
Crushing it. Like it's the same thing. But like that's what I mean though. It's like that tournament structure is really good for people that are playing tournaments that we play. You know what I mean?
Yes. It's also because like in Pokemon, literally, if you are a consistent good player, you get a Worlds invite. Yeah. That's it. In Yu-Gi-Oh, it's like, and
that was like that. Yeah.
I've bitched about this so many times already. Like with Nej as well, I already went on a tirade. But so let's not do that again. No. But it's insane to me how like you can be a consistent player in Yu-Gi-Oh and like
the reward is very, very thin. It's like event to event, less of like you did this in a season. So like technically doing well in a season, sure, but it's criminal when someone like Paulo, right? 3 YCSs back to back to back, and he did not qualify for Worlds.
Nope.
No, it doesn't make sense.
I mean,
same with like last format too, right? We had people with 2 wins.
Yeah,
they won't qualify for Worlds straight away. They have to work for it again.
Yeah, that's the worst part to me. Like you can do the Worlds points grind, have one unlucky day, and you're out.
It's not good. But the other funny thing that I don't remember who I talked with this about. It was like the more you play. Oh, it was Marcello. It's like the more you play for the Worlds point grind. If you're really grinding, playing all these regionals, all these YCS events, even if you're just making top cut, you played more Yu-Gi-Oh than anyone else.
Yeah.
Right. And you're playing DB probably as well.
Yeah.
And we've seen that translate, which is really funny. Where it's like you have Marcello played as much Yu-Gi-Oh as possible 2017, went undefeated at Euros, even though he already qualified through Worlds points. And then for the North American one, 2019, Ray Dai, Cody, Manav, and then I think Wei Lee was like close, but I don't think he made points. But I know he played a bunch of regionals and didn't top any YCSs, but then he qualified for Worlds anyway.
Yeah.
All of those guys played more Yu-Gi-Oh than anyone else. And they just played, you know, the ultimate event of the season, and they just made top cut. Yeah, it's like that's it. Like technical play, maybe not deck building, but you know, like you value technical play more in situations like that sometimes too. So it's like maybe that's the benefit. You play more Yu-Gi-Oh, it makes you play more Yu-Gi-Oh a whole season. You probably see more games, more interactions than most other people, and then you know you can run deep in the main event anyway. Like
yeah, that's true.
But like that's not how it should be. But the fact that that's what has happened, you know, it's like good. Maybe Konami knows what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I would hope so. You know, after 20 years, you should kind of assume.
That's my other one. Yeah, assuming like maybe they just know more than us.
Yes.
So I see every new game as well, and they throw like the Bandai Battle Spirits one. They're throwing that budget at it, and I'm like, maybe they are just geniuses, and we look stupid. You know?
Did you see the Bandai thing with Avril Lavigne?
Yeah.
I was like, shit, that's so smart.
I played that event.
Yeah.
I went. I had 4 wins, two draws, and a loss. Group of people from Hong Kong came. They played OG Battle Spirits, destroyed us. One went undefeated. Yep, 5 of them took top 8. Anyway, I got $500. That's barely crazy. Bubbled.
Yeah,
I could have came 16. Got $750. This was a 100-person event. You know what I mean? It's like. That's like the other topic for discussion, but it's more like, again, tournament structure, prize distribution, all of that stuff comes hand in hand to make it worthwhile, I think, to play as much as much of your card game as possible.
The thing is, though, I don't think these smaller games can keep that up for long. You know?
They can't, but then you're seeing the budget that they throw at, like, the Avril Lavigne tweet. They got all of the influencers, YouTubers, and stuff like that. And they did like a video. They flew 2 Magic Pros as well to the Bandai like headquarters, and they demoed the game. Like they had the R&D.
It's smart.
Like that money, and then the prize support.
Yep.
Other games just throw the prize support in and don't do any of the marketing. They think the prize money will do it itself, but like Bandai's just going crazy. It's like, now imagine if Yu-Gi-Oh did that.
That'd be crazy.
Yu-Gi-Oh doesn't have to do that. That's the crazy thing.
They
still have 3,000 people showing up. Like it just, I don't know, man. Like that's the thing. Like we're not giving Konami enough credit when they complain about it's like the prizes aren't good enough, the tournament structure's not good enough. Like maybe this Worlds thing doesn't work. It's like but everyone still shows up.
Yep.
That's because we love Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yep.
Yeah, that's probably the big one. But
again, like people, except for Pokemon, of course, Pokemon is the biggest franchise.
But Pokemon's a different.
Yeah, exactly. But in terms of like just card game franchises, like people love Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah.
Like it just doesn't matter. No. But also
when
like
Magic players hate Magic, they don't show up. That I know. I've seen that. They don't show up. They hold nothing back. They'd be happy playing casual like Commander at locals. They just won't show up to a Pro Tour.
Cancel Bohdan right now. It's over.
Oh, sorry, Magic community. They've lost me. I'll put my Spellground away. It's fine.
Okay. Did you sell it yet?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, many years. Oh, last year. Yeah, I got rid of it already. It's fine.
Very, very cool.
Someone asked me if I played that event, by the way. It's 1999 Spell. It's like, did you play that event? It's like, I would have been 7. I'm like, what are you doing?
That's maybe not a compliment.
Yeah. Yep. That one was, that was weird. I was like, shit, am I that old? Like,
no, I don't
maybe.
think so.
No, but like, this is when I was younger too.
Oh.
This is like 8 years ago.
8 years.
Yeah.
So
and
you were
he's like
52 or?
At this point, yeah. The grades are coming in too quick. It's bad. No, it's rough. I need a haircut. It's getting bad.
Right after this filming, we go to the bar.
Yeah. I was contemplating it. We'll pass a couple in
crazy.
the city.
Yeah. So back to the topic somehow. We had Cyberstorm. We talked about Super Heavy Samurai being ridiculous. Have you seen the Apple Dragon? I love that thing.
I don't think the Apple Dragon's gonna be good in TCG.
Is it because Cash is still a thing or
no,
other
well,
reasons?
like that, and then we don't have so Apple Dragon's definitely gonna fall off in OCG. Elf and Chaos Rule is still legal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Rule is still legal.
Yeah.
That might be a big one to sort of like keep it around.
Mm-hmm.
I think Elf not being legal, you lose a lot of your combos. That's like the big one. Because Elf enabled like a lot, like free body from Ruler and then everything else.
Yeah.
No Ruler in TCG, no Elf. The best thing you can really do is like sort of like what Jesse was doing. You make actually we were doing Cupid Pitch.
Yeah, Cupid
Pitch.
Pitch.
We were doing it for like there was like another combo without Pitch for TCG.
Okay.
I think Pitch is still like really broken. I think that's a card like if that card's playable, the game is probably in the dirt. Like that card is really busted.
No. It means pile decks are a thing.
I know, but like
the game is cool.
That card should not exist. That card is like literally the stupidest card in the game. I think that card's so well designed, but also like it can't exist in Yu-Gi-Oh specifically because of like how the game works.
I mean, it'll every time be for something degenerate.
Yeah,
like,
pretty well. That's like most cards, and like they'll hit it eventually, surely. But for TCG specifically, obviously we have like full power Brave, so you can do stuff with that. I'm wary of it. Some of the combos I've seen without Ruler and without Elf, they seem like you're playing worse versions of the deck. So you're trying to play like the Sprite deck. You could probably just play a better Sprite deck.
Yeah.
So while I'm excited for that card, I don't think it's gonna do as much. And I'm more excited for like obviously like Super Heavy Samurai stuff. I think it's just like
that's
very
unfair
very
shit
dumb.
like
Yeah. Well, like
I mean, long time. No, we just had Tier Shizu, but you know.
Yeah, but I think Super Heavy Samurai won't open up the same like Tier 0 format, obviously, because like it's more susceptible to some things, but it's like really resilient. I don't think we'll see another format like that until like a full revamp.
Yeah,
you know, like sort of like Power of the Elements, Dabble, Magnificent Maven. It's like, oh, we need something like that again, and they might just continue doing stuff like that. Who knows? You know, like I said, I think we're just getting more decks that are playable, not necessarily decks that are better than what we have now. Just playable, similar power level, more issues to adapt in the format that you can't really adapt. So, is it going to be good? We'll see. Time will tell. Maybe Super Heavy Samurai is the best deck. Maybe people aren't going to be FTKing and they're just going to be making boards and like trying to play through boards with like all these cool Super Heavy Samurai
we have
cards.
a ban list before?
Yeah, but it depends what they hit, right? I think
they're gonna
the biggest thing. Yeah, we say that, but like how, you know?
No, look. They're gonna nuke Cash because otherwise you can't really sell Super Heavy Samurai as easily.
I don't think they need to sell it. I think it's like those sets just sell anywhere. You know what I mean? Like it's a core set with like good cards in it. I think all that. All right. Let's look back to Daifu. I think Daifu is like pretty reasonable, like comparatively to maybe Cyberstorm Access, but I think Cyberstorm Access is like better, but not Power of the Elements.
Yeah, of course.
It might be like Darkwing Blast here. I think Darkwing Blast is like probably actually the best comparison. Like the Bestials, right? They're not crazy good, but when they're good, they're really, really good. Same with like most of the cards in this set. So I think they don't have the ability to sell it unless they make a deck in that set Tier 0. You know what I mean? Especially with how the structure works. So like, yeah, the distributor puts their numbers in, the stores put their numbers in, the stores get the product.
Yeah.
By the time you know what the set is and like what other stuff comes with it,
the orders are
already there. They made their money, right? This doesn't matter.
However, I will say, whenever people say like, oh, but they won't make money off the secondary market, you know, this whole argument, the thing is that by teaching stores that they will be able to always sell, then, you know, that so there is still incentive to kill decks to sell sets because stores know, oh, I gotta buy the core set because it will definitely nuke the thing.
You still have
again.
sets like Legendary Duelists, Oceans.
I know.
You know, you have.
I got a case of that. I know.
It's like all of these like really
dog shit.
Let's say bad. Just
Yeah.
plain bad. And same with like Maze. I don't think Maze is that good. Maze could have just been thrown into something else. Could have had the Gate Guardian stuff in like something else.
Hey, it had Axel Synchron.
Yeah, that could have also probably just been in a core set and everyone would have been way happier, right? I think it would have been the big one.
Yep.
That's the one thing, because like the same with Baron. Baron could have just been in a core set. It would have been very expensive secret rare probably, or like a $30-$40 ultra, but it would have been way better. You know, just get rid of the Legendary Duelists from the deep entirely.
I mean, to be fair, I think Legendary Duelists, like maybe, again, I restarted paper like last year, January, around Master Duel basically. I was following though, but you know, restarted. Every Legendary Duelist that I've touched since then has not been great.
I think
you had the Wind one, but I touched it after Lyrilusk was already nuked.
So the Wind one was weird because of how short printed Baron was, right? This is no point.
Yeah.
Like open a case to get one. I think that's disgusting. They tried to do a really good job with Duels from the Deep, right? With like the droplet reprint, and I think that was like the start of them willing to put those sort of like staple cards, like we saw it in the Tins, Mavens. You're seeing it more and more, including like the structure decks, right? That's good. Like I like that. It's weird when the cards are still expensive despite having all these printings, because it's like, are more people playing Yu-Gi-Oh and they need these cards, or is there like an overlap? You know, it's like, do you get it and sell it and then it's just bouncing? I don't think it's like Mavens was open like a lot.
Yeah, no, I know, but when
I sold 100 copies of Lightning Storm on my eBay in Australia. And I was like, I don't know if we have that many people playing Yu-Gi-Oh in Australia. You know what I mean? Like, it's weird to me. Like, I just don't understand. Because we also had Lightning Storm in the Tins, too.
Firstly, though, there's a bunch of people who, like, buy Yu-Gi-Oh cards and then don't show up.
No, that one I... But then it's like, you have to look at, like, oh, how many casual players do we have that are just like, I'm going to buy these cards. I might play eventually. But it's like, is it really that many? Like, and they're buying on eBay as well. Like,
I was that. I have literally owned Danger Thunder and never gone to a locals in that whole era.
That's also reasonable.
I had Gumblar Mermail.
Did you buy them from eBay? Or did you buy them from Card Market?
I don't know.
Because if it was eBay, I feel like that's a different ball game, especially. Maybe not for Australia, but like for another region. Oh boy.
Yeah, I don't remember, but I know like I've owned Yu-Gi-Oh cards like 2017, 2018, and every single time.
There's always one. There's like especially if you play like other games competitively as well. Even if you played like very soft Yu-Gi-Oh initially, I feel like you feel compelled to buy a meta deck just in case, right? Like your friends might play it. Sort of. You never know. But I've seen those at my locals too. They buy. The meta, they always let me borrow the decks too. Shout out to them, they're the best. They just like buy the meta deck, buy like all these cards. And it's like, I guess like, that's, you know, locals attendance is 6 people. It's like, this guy doesn't want to enter, but he has all these cards that he just bought because just in case, right? I guess that's a big one. And maybe again, I think not giving like Konami enough credit, because it's like maybe there are just enough people that are treating it like Commander, right? Like Magic Commander. It's like they don't have to enter a tournament. They're just at home. They're happy to put Lightning Storm in their deck. They saw it on the Team Samurai video or something.
Yeah, I'll do like 2 test hands and go, that was Yu-Gi-Oh.
I've had some fun. It's like, let's make 2 decks with 6 copies of Lightning Storm, and it's like, that's all right. We don't have to really think too deep here, but I guess.
No, but so going back to like there being too few though, like Legendary Duelists of the Deep, I opened the case, I had 3 droplets. So like
that sounds standard, right? It's like fair, but it shouldn't be that way though.
But that means that the price won't go down much, right?
Oh no. So it shouldn't be. So I don't think Sable cards should be expensive. Yeah. Right? Because why should that be a thing, right? Yeah. I think it's like core set archetypal. If they're not like tier 0, I think like Shizu, right? Shizu tier was probably like the best example of like cheap. It shouldn't. It's not like crazy expensive. Like I think it was probably like the cheapest tier 0 deck. But that went in the toilet. People thought it was going to get hit. That was the whole thing. It was
and
like
then they hit everything else.
Yeah, they hit everything but that, because they were like, oh,
teach them a lesson.
People are going to be sick. It's like, but like we didn't expect them to hit like all the cheap commons and all that. It's like we didn't expect the OCG treatment. So it's like when that stuff is cheap, I think that's really good for the game. Maybe like post Power of the Elements tier is when it gets kind of unhealthy, because like, you know, it's just like, well, like tier and Sprite, right? It's like all really expensive initially. Then you had to have the staples, which hadn't been reprinted during COVID. But then after that, I felt like everything was like really cheap, like pretty reasonable. And I think Cash Now sort of also fits that role. If you really look into it and you check the pricing,
wait, is Cash cheap now?
Have you checked them?
No.
I'm sick. I had a stack of unicorns, and I'm like, I'm gonna hold these. These have to go up. No, they went down. They're like $10 $10 on TCG. Yeah.
I should have thought they were 40 at one point.
Yeah, Fenrir as well. Dirt. Literal dirt. And that card's playable in like multiple decks. Like,
yeah.
That's the thing. So I don't know if it's like
they're ready for it to get nuked.
Yeah, ready for it to get nuked, same as Pellerino.
Yeah.
Or again, it's like you have to buy the 3 Fenrir, right? And it's like, oh, you didn't get the 3 Fenrir. It's like, oh, man, you got to get the 3, Primeval Planet. You got to get all of these things, and that's like when it gets kind of dicey. You have to sort of wait it out. But like for the subject of staples, it's like if you have the staples and they're cheap, then you just anything. Have to get the archetype as it comes out, and that's okay if that's like expensive because. Not enough Yu-Gi-Oh cards are open. You have to make the value of opening a set. It's not Pokemon. Pokemon's the other,
Yeah, Pokemon is the opposite. It's literally like you have so many collectors, that shit will be opened anyway, and then your competitive deck is like
your comp decks, like you go on Limitless, you look at the decks, it's like $80. You're like, Jesus.
80 is even expensive.
It's like Lost Box, and it's like three stables that got bought out, and they're like just chilling.
Yeah. I literally made on Card Market like a card with a maxed out version of a deck.
Oh, yeah.
Everything maxed in gold was 330.
Yeah,
I'm like,
it's broken.
Dude. Do that in Yu-Gi-Oh with Starlights and
I think your aesthetic comes down to it too, though. You can pick some nice like energies.
If you go for the old ones. Yeah, that's true.
They have some crazy.
I think most people know you from Worlds, can I say that? And then of course consistently topping YCSs and so forth. How did going from I assume you started as a kid at some point. How did going from just messing around to going competitive, how do you do that?
So for me it's probably more different than most people because like growing up I was just on Duelist Grounds. It's like the OG forum. It's where all the competitive players played. I'm in Australia and I'm a kid. I can't travel.
Yeah.
Like, I played a lot of YVD, so YuGiOh Virtual Desktop. I don't know if you know that.
No.
It's like
I'm young.
You download the program. You have to give someone your IP to connect to the client. It was ridiculous. So we had to download.
That sounds like
so we had to download it's like a port forwarder. It was called Hamachi at the time. I think some people still use it for random shit, but it's like essentially VPN, makeshift VPN. But it would host through Hamachi and we'd just play each other. And we'd play religiously, just sit there, and it was the same as Dueling Book.
Yeah.
It's like Dueling Book was inspired by that. I think it was 2X Stevens. There was like one person who ran like the IRC for everything.
Oh, it's okay.
And hey Raph, come.
Oh, you want to be in a podcast? Come join. Super fun. Sorry.
But yeah, so like IRC, for like the old people who know what it is. You know what Internet Relay Chat? It's like the really old school.
I don't know, but
shit, it was like text-based chat, right? And I met someone like 2005 Nats champ. Like I was a young kid. I'm just like sitting in the IRC chat, sweating. Literally all like the pro players. Like rest in peace. Like dude was great to me. Like would teach me like a bunch of stuff for Yu-Gi-Oh. Like Jeff Jones and stuff like that from Duelist Grounds as well. We just play a lot, right? But I couldn't travel, so I really had the thirst. And then when I was able to travel, the first time, it was crazy. But it was like a top. Because I knew I played a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh, so it just like translates to a top. And then it wasn't until like I had the funds to travel more, and it's like obviously volume translates into something. If you're good at something, it's like the more you play, the more chance you have at winning an event. And then like it's like qualify for Worlds the first time, play Worlds scrub. I'm in America for another week and a half. Play the YCS the week afterwards, win the YCS. It's like shit. I guess I don't know. Maybe I got the superpower from Worlds for coming, like almost last, but. And then like after that just sort of snowballs. But I think that was probably like the main point, because before then it was like I was still sort of condensed in Australia. People knew I was good, but it was never like, oh, you're one of like the best in the world. People say best in the world, and it's like I think there's so many people who are good, but it's like you can't really give that label to anyone. Maybe Jessica, I don't know. But you do all of your like crazy stuff in Oceania. And I made top 4 and I lost in top 4. And it was heartbreaking because the top 4 was me playing a deck that my friend was playing, and he was also on the other side of the bracket.
Bye.
So,
sorry for
bye,
your
Raph.
room.
God bless him.
I should buy him a drink.
But yeah, so it's like 2 decks, both made top 4, separate sides of the bracket. We could both go to Worlds with the same deck. I proceed to play my YuGiOh deck into Fire Fist. I win a game 1. I don't think I should have won. Like I'm watching the game and I'm like, maybe I should scoop. And I'm just like, I'm in the top 4. Why would I concede? It's like old time rules as well. And I win game. He just concedes. He's like, he thought he was out of resources. I'm looking and I'm just like, I thought it was fucking dead. I was like, well, all right. And after the game, I'm like that game one specifically, I'm like, wow, I really didn't think that it would end this way. And then we go to game 2. So I went second game 1, I went second game 2. Game 2 during siding ends in time. We have to roll the dice. I lose the die roll. I go second again with my Gear deck, and then I get mind controlled, which is another funny thing. You watch my Worlds fine, I get mind controlled and I lose that. I got mind controlled in my first top 4 of Oceanics, and he took my guy, and I got destroyed in times. I was like, oh.
Did you get tilted from like the?
Yeah, a little bit. Well, it's like I was also like third place. Like, you know, when they're like, oh, maybe they don't go to Worlds, and you're like the next in line.
Oh,
that's happened to me twice, and each time they're like, yeah, maybe he won't go. Oh no, they go every single time.
Yeah, of course.
So I'm not lucky. We're not in like we're not Galileo. Gally 7th place, his first Worlds appearance, and it passed down from like first through to 7th.
Oh, that's broken.
Right,
that's great.
That's so sick, because no one in Panama can get a passport. That was the whole thing back then too, which is crazy. But yeah, so like that was the thing. It's just like the desire, the thirst, and then again like play more events. Yeah. And now it's just like it's really complacent for me.
So,
I think.
Can I like draw the parallel to like if you're like a dueling book god now, and then you suddenly go like, oh, I'll go to my first YCS and boom, instantly like top, and then go from
that's a lot of the kids now.
Yeah, I know.
I say kids like very loosely. They're just like a little bit. But like I watch these
22-year-old kids.
Well, like Vin's same thing. Like dueling book god during COVID, we were like, oh yeah, this kid's really good, and now he's got a YCS when he topped this YCS. Like he's really good. Same like all of like the Pierre Luigi's, like all of those guys, they're really good. They were really young. You know, I've watched them grow up, and it's like, you know, you play enough Yu-Gi-Oh, you should travel to these events, make the effort, and like it'll translate. It's the same thing. I think Dueling Book and IRL have like very similar things in like formats like this, especially where it's like not necessarily like reads and stuff, like, you know, IRL technical play versus like Dueling Book like action technical play. But yeah, it's like they're all transferable. So.
Personally, I do the opposite. I travel to all the events and don't test. That doesn't go great though.
You would be surprised if I said that's most pro people now.
Yeah. But the thing is, they already have years of experience, so you know.
It's less fun. You try talking to Jesse to playtest, it's just the worst. Jesse will play Hearthstone, play Battlegrounds instead. We're just sitting in Discord. He's like, I want to play Battlegrounds. I'm like, okay. Let's talk theory. Asala, hey Jesse, you want to play test? No, I'm busy. I'm sorry. And just doesn't test for an event. Plays the event, wins. It's like that was all of TF format too. It was sick. God. Yeah, but all of his experience came from like tournament play, which is gross.
Yeah, so. But the thing is, like from years of experience, you have like that game sense and technical play and everything.
There's like some things will like click straight away. It translates perfectly. Yeah, exactly. When that happens, it's good because it's like especially when new things happen, right? So like don't always like when new things have to happen in the game to like be ahead, but it's like like a really nice feeling when it's like a new set comes out or like post ban list, and you get to play a deck. But you like draw a parallel from something you played from before. Yeah. And it just comes out really smooth, destroy everyone. Those are the best ones. Like we love those ones. They're so fun. And like obviously like happened with Jesse with like Tier and stuff like that. Like drew parallels from other decks that he played. You know, the theories were sound and we sort of just kept going. Same with Thunder Dragon too.
The theory of snow, and with Thunder Dragon of Snow again.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, even after Snow was banned, we were still playing Thunder Dragon too. It was the best. And people don't want to admit that one, but
crazy. So what are your goals right now?
I set some really weird goals the other week. I was like, I wanted to win the Battle Spirits event really bad, but I didn't play enough. So
I thought we'd go to YuGiOh.
That's the crazy one. So I set 3 goals. I was like, I'd like to win the Battle Spirits event. And I'm like running deep in the 250s would be really appealing as well. And I feel like for both of those, I didn't put enough effort in. I don't think I wanted it enough after saying I would like to do well those. I think the one thing that I would like to do is just go to Worlds again. And I think I've done it the hard ways. No playoff, but I'm playing a smaller, softer tournament compared to the North American WCQ or Euros. I've done it enough times, like making the finals, right? And I think that's like a realistic goal for me. It's probably not like the craziest one, but going to Worlds is like obviously
it's a big deal.
It's like the pinnacle for like every duelist. Yeah. So I think that's like the main one. I'm not fussed if I win another YCS. I don't think anyone's gonna catch up to someone like Jesse or Chris or something. It's like there's no point. You're just playing because you like the game, and if you win, it's a bonus. And if I can top, it's fine. Like I've sort of accepted that. But obviously, like if I'm really into a format, I would like to do better than just all the tops now. It's like.
Oh, I'm sorry. The tops aren't enough anymore, you know?
the tops are never enough. It's so defeating. Like when we lost the 3v3 top 4, and I look at Jeff and I'm just like, oh, Jeff Jeff knows. And like Ryan's just like, I'm just glad to be here. Shit. We've all lost in top 4 so many times as well. It's the worst part. And then we lost 3rd and 4th, and Jeff's just like, I don't care. It's like, oh, we got a Nintendo Switch? I don't care. I'm like, yeah, it's like that though. Oh, right? Shit. If you as bad as it sounds, right? It's just like,
it's true.
When you've been there so many times, it's kind of, you know, like, here's my it's essentially a participation prize at that point.
Yeah.
Like, doesn't mean anything unless you really want a Nintendo Switch. Like, sure, like
number 7.
Exactly. There was a point I had so many PS4s one year. It was crazy. I like my room. I looked like a drug dealer. I had like 4 or 5. I was like, this is ridiculous. And they would get shipped by Amazon too. So I just PS4 out the front. It's like, hey, can I mail my PS4 from the European event? It's like, yeah, Amazon will deliver it. It's like, oh god. So much effort. But yeah, it's like, well, it's peak goal. I think it just has to be but like that's the crazy thing too. It's like Worlds participation, you know what I mean? If I make it to Worlds again and I don't do well, I don't think I'm like upset. I think it's just like the little personal goal of like the experience more than anything. Like less of like doing well. Like 2018 I didn't expect to do that well given like how poor 2016 did. I knew I was a stronger player, but I didn't think it meant as much. And I said so this is a crazy story. I don't know if people know this. So like I was working for YuGiOh Singles, right? Okay. Premier card store. They would distribute it for New Zealand. Okay. And I would sit in the office and I would be talking because like the guy that I would work with, he top 8'd back-to-back Worlds, 2008, 2009. Okay. And he went undefeated in Swiss each time. And he was a very strong player, probably the best in the game. They went on to make Flesh and Blood, right? Okay. So Chris Gehring was his name. And each time I would say to him, I said, Worlds means nothing, right? And it's true. Okay. I think the structure does not really like give it enough prestige. And that's sort of like, you know, from the discussion where we said people think, oh, Japan runs so deep in Worlds. It's like, yeah, it's what they played every week. 5 rounds, top 8. Sure. So I just said, next time I go back to Worlds, I think it will be the easiest tournament I've ever played. And I said that very, very I stiffly looked at him and I said, none of this matters, right? Doesn't make a difference. I play Worlds, cool. If I top, I think it'll be free. It's fine. And then I qualified for Worlds that year, and it was very easy and very free. So that's like the crazy part. But I don't know if I still feel that way. I think the world structure is lacking, but like, these tournaments free? No, I don't think any tournament's particularly free.
No, of course not. No. I mean, also like, it's also just like once you get to the point where everyone is so good, like the increments aren't as impactful anymore. No, like variance starts playing more overall. No.
Yeah, well, that's just like most games, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's like perfect information, everything. Yeah. Just gambling at that point, right? You take the percentage chances.
So it's literally now just keep doing consistently. There's no and Worlds again. Yeah, there's no.
Like I said, you know, like if you win a YCS, it doesn't mean that much, right? Like it doesn't mean that much for some people. Yeah, that's the crazy. It's like when you're like our circle, right? I have some people like that have 2 or 3 wins, and they're just like, so I guess I have to win another 2 or 3 now, right? And I'm like, yeah, and he's just like, well, they're just like, you know, I don't think I have it in me. You know what I mean? It's like you get older. You lose the desire, you lose the thirst. Maybe you're just like very indifferent to the game.
Can't put in the time to do all that ridiculous testing anymore.
So these kids are getting younger and younger and being really good at Yu-Gi-Oh! It's difficult, you know.
Wow, the old guard.
Oh, yeah.
One day,
old guard's not falling off yet. We'll give him hell. But,
okay. You'll be sitting on the sidelines.
Well, that's where we become. Like when we were so like Jerome R&D, he had YCS tops. YCS top, sorry, with Counter Fairy. That's a funny tidbit. Okay. And then one of the commentators, Michael Kahanim, he won a Shonen Jump, qualified for Worlds, did not top that World, so and his commentary, right? So like Billy Break works at Konami now. Yeah, I know. Obviously, legend of the game, right? Yeah. Same thing. Old guard transitions into something else, and they're still in the community. You still see them around. Store owner, working for Konami, you know, some capacity. Judge, same thing. Yeah. So that's always like what I enjoy when I see people. It's like, hey, I remember you when I was a kid. It's like, yeah. It's like, oh, well, you run this now. So, yeah.
Do you see yourself doing that?
I did at one point, but I think there's like other factors to it, right? Yeah. It's like if you really wanted it, you could get it a lot sooner. You don't have to wait, right? It's like you want to work for R&D. It's like, yeah, well, you probably could have done it by now. It's like, yeah.
You're just gonna keep playing to stay young, you know.
Pretty much. I think it'll just turn into like more of a hobby, less of like competitive drive, right? I think that's like most things. So but the people I met just keep me in it, right? It's like if none of my friends played, I wouldn't play.
So it's basically like a Ponzi scheme.
Oh, okay. That's the other part when it comes to the whole like, where did I sell 100 of these lightning storms from? And it's like, we think the whole secondary market is just a Ponzi scheme, but I think you can apply that to most things.
Yeah, everything's a Ponzi
Ryan
scheme.
says the craziest ones where it's just like, yeah, I vended this event and I bought these cards, officially vended, by the way, for his local.
Yeah.
Not on the floor.
Yeah, not anything else.
Not anything else. No.
Yeah.
All my friends are official vendors. So he vended an event, bought the cards for 70, sold it to Nishad just in his lounge room for 80. Nishad sold it for 90. And then I'm just like, damn, this is very like cyclical. But then it's like, where are these cards ending up, and like how is this? It's like the South Park episode of like Cash for Gold, where it's just like
it's just me.
It's just you specifically. Yeah, you're gonna unload all of the $70 cards that Ryan got.
No, just eventually it's like, yeah, this is my Gumblar loop. One day I'll go to locals, and then it's just
sure. It feels like a Ponzi scheme though, where it's just like well, I think actually in that story specifically, it was like 70 to 80, and the shard sold it back to Ryan. It sort of just kept bouncing back and forth, and it didn't make sense. Same with like all the crazy high end as well. I feel like it just trades between the same 30 people.
So that is actually one thing that I do know stuff about.
That's you. Yeah, you're the problem. You're part of the 30 people.
That's right. It's not entirely true, because I've seen like I have not middleman. My house was the middle ground for a deal for a Shonen Jump PSA 10 Crush card for 80K, which is pretty high end.
Yeah.
And that buyer was not like in it.
Some of them are low key enough, but like when you look at the groups, it's the same people buying these cards.
I know. But I think at the very highest end, you just get the people who are like
their life is they're gonna keep it forever.
I'm balling.
Yeah.
But it's true. You do have like the whole vendor thing. The high end groups is just
it's very, very funny to watch.
Yeah.
It just seems like it's just people.
But it's like trading stocks, right?
Like, I know.
Like you buy and
but
you
sometimes
just
it's the same amount. Like, yes, it's the same with stocks, but it's like, no. Like,
sometimes you sell for the same amount because you're like, fuck, I can't sell it for more.
No. Just watching it, it's so comedic. It's just...
I understand.
It's the best.
Yeah. Moving on to the game then, I guess. How do you like YuGiOh right now? I know you don't like the format maybe as much as maybe some others, but like just in general, how's YuGiOh? How's Konami handling things? Do you think some things should...
I think YuGiOh is probably like the best it's been, but not from a gameplay perspective, right? I think it's like they're doing a really good job with Master Duel and everything else.
Yeah.
It's fine. Like,
yeah.
If you want to play YuGiOh, this is like the prime time to play it. I think the cards are cheap enough. You can build whatever deck you want, and you can have like reasonable success. But from like a competitive standpoint, I don't think it's that good.
Oh, okay. Why?
There's more emphasis on the like... It's hard to explain. It's like they emphasize diversity in a format where it's like more conducive for like the casual player, when the competitive side is really like not looking for a Tearlament Ishizu one, but they want more like balance when it comes to a diverse format.
Yeah.
Because now we just have all these decks that are doing the same ridiculous thing. And it's very, like, I think we had this sort of like last year as well.
Yeah, I remember.
Maybe it's cyclical, but it's like ignorant deck. Oh, Scythe, this, right? Now it's just like Arise Heart, Gimmick Puppet, and then all these other crazy things you have to account for. And when that happens, and the decks are so powerful, you sort of just have to have these answers in your opening hand. You have to have enough of these cards between your main and side deck. And by the time you play a game, it's not fun at all.
Yeah.
Right? Like when you're trying to metagame everything, it doesn't seem that good. But when you're like playing at a local level or on your kitchen counter, it doesn't matter what you're playing.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's it. I think there's a lot of cool cards in YuGiOh.
Scare Club.
Exactly. Well, I think those are other good cards. It's the same thing. Like, I think this, dude, the Runic for Hire deck from this weekend as well. Again, I thought it was like, I read the cards for the first time like maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. It's like, these cards do 80 different things. That's the thing. Like, I think these decks are fine. And they're like in that like small niche of, again, if 80 people show up with the Runic for Hire deck, is that going to translate to, like 10% of it making top cut? Like maybe after this weekend, possibly. But like, I still think if that happens, like someone like Dinkabui is going to be the only guy who makes top cut with a deck like that. But it's not because the cards are bad. It's because like, are they better than what we're doing currently?
Probably
like,
not.
is it better than Arise? And I feel like I'm just repeating
Is
myself
it
when I
better than
say
Arise? Is it better than
That's
Arise?
the thing. But is it better than resolving brand diffusion? Is it better than this? Better than that? And it's like all these things are so ignorant in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh, and you have to beat them in your opening hand. You don't have turns to deal with it, and I think it just doesn't. It doesn't lead to like good gameplay on a competitive level. But when you're playing a local level and someone's not being piece of shit going there with a broken tier 0 deck. Do a lot of fun stuff. That's why decks that's where the fun decks sort of pop up to, like the Plunder of Runic and stuff like that's like a local level deck that can just
Run
hit a
deep
YCS,
sometimes.
right? Yeah,
Because you can put a token on your opponent,
Exactly.
and there's no Arise
It's
card.
just clear metagame. Same with Mathmech. No one would have said Mathmech was a playable deck. Same thing.
Yeah, I made a
Regional
lot
level?
of fun of that, and now it looks stupid.
I also made fun of it, and I got destroyed by it. Who would have thought?
Oh, right.
No.
Wait, what ended up winning, or is it still?
Samir.
Oh,
Right.
crazy.
Oh, okay.
Had
Congrats.
the most insane hand ever. Tom ends on Shangri-Ira, the normal board.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, was it Arise Diablosis Shangri-Ira?
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
sure.
you
sure.
wanna...
Goes standby phase, summons Fenrir in defense mode. Samir goes Kurikara, tribute Shangri-Ira. Arise Heart triggers, attaches. Samir goes second Kurikara, tributes the Arise Heart. Tactics, take Fenrir. Normal summon Beaver.
Attack for game.
And then also has Star.
What the fuck? This is the MST guy.
That's so sick.
He does it again.
That's the other sort of thing as well. It's like I like when those are the final matches, right? Because
Yeah.
the thing is,
Those are
I
hype.
I have those games too. They
Yeah.
just don't end up being on stream.
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
get shit on instead.
So the thing is, those are hype from like a viewer perspective.
I know exactly.
But competitively speaking, it's
Competitively,
like,
if that
the fuck
happened to me, I
happened?
would probably yell. Yeah, that plays back to me saying you have to look at your opening hand and it
Yeah.
has to play to that because like how else are you gonna fucking beat that? You don't get a turn to beat that.
Yeah, exactly.
Goes back to your turn. You kill them. I
Yep.
was like,
You know the funny part? Samir is actually a topping Vanguard player as well.
yeah, I've seen it. The French Vanguard. It's very funny. Like, I think that's
Vanguard, let's go.
that's the other thing too. Though, it's like your skill set from Yu-Gi-Oh translates to other games like pretty reasonably.
Yeah.
It might not be like direct, but I
No.
think you gain quite a lot.
Yeah.
But Samir's an OG. He played a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh years ago too. So maybe it's less so now. And maybe like the newer players don't get the same skill set that you would from like old Yu-Gi-Oh. I sound like a boomer now. But yeah.
I think game sense translates to everything.
Yeah, but
Like-
I think the application now is a lot more. It's a lot weirder with how
Mm-hmm.
Yu-Gi-Oh plays out.
Yeah.
And you sort of like pick up a different skill set compared to where you're at. Maybe look up like maybe 10 years.
This is actually true because when I came back, I played so many bricks because I was like, my opening hands are gonna be fine. It's best
No.
of 3, whatever.
Oh,
but
yeah.
but you like draw your hand and you're like, shit, I couldn't respond instantly and
Oh,
I just
yeah.
died.
No mulligans.
Yep. Yeah,
Same.
Yeah, that's the thing. I wasn't used to not mulliganing,
Oh, yeah,
so
yeah.
like I just drew.
That's like another thing as well. I think if you go from like a Yu-Gi-Oh player playing another card game with mulligan system, you sort of have to like evaluate. Same like when it's a new card game I played, Battle Spirits. Haha, I'm not sponsored.
Yet.
having to figure out like when to keep, when not to keep, and then like picking first and second. It's
Alright.
a weird thing that you would apply maybe in Yu-Gi-Oh sometimes, but then like you just can't apply. It's weird, right? Like
Yeah.
it's something you have to like play a bunch of games with to sort of like figure it out. But yeah, it's again transferable skill. You know that there's a difference between going first and going second. You know if you have the option to mulligan in Yu-Gi-Oh, maybe you would take it, right? It's
But it would
reasonable.
be broken.
Oh yeah, you would have to do there would have to be a very very strong downside to a mulligan. I think
I mean, going -1 would be something.
it,
no?
it would have to be like a -1, and then you can't do something. But that might be too bad. Maybe you're. I don't know. I don't think there's a fix for it. I think Yu-Gi-Oh with no resource system, it's like kind of skewed.
Yeah.
You can't have a mulligan.
Yeah, it
Maybe.
is.
Or like maybe like a scry aspect. Maybe it's like instead of a mulligan, you get a scry 1 like magic like top.
Do you think Scry 1 is enough though?
I don't know. So that's the thing. You get the chance to fix 1. It's kind of weird, but
Yeah,
maybe
imagine
something
you-
like that. That could be like the new Yu-Gi-Oh master rule set. Could be like Scry 1 or Scry 2 or something dumb like that. I don't know.
I mean, Scry 1 is literally like you're playing Brave Fateful
Oh.
Adventure. Oh, okay, too bad.
Well, okay. So think about how many times you would have just liked the option to see your 6th in your opener. Maybe could be
Yeah.
relevant,
Yeah.
right? Because like, oh, I drew Nib as my 6th. It's like then you have the option for the fix. I don't think you need a punish for that either. Like 1 is enough for maybe some fixes.
Yeah.
But, no, it's weird. It's definitely like a weird thing from just how Yu-Gi-Oh is designed, right? It just doesn't make too much sense. But
Since Yu-Gi-Oh maybe competitively isn't at its peak that you think, We have one final question usually on the podcast. It's the desires question. If you had one desire that you could have fulfilled when it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh, what would it be?
Winning worlds. Oh. Is that the easy one?
Yeah.
Sure.
But how about like changing about Yu-Gi-Oh?
Oh, changing about Yu-Gi-Oh? Sure.
I would like to have all the cards.
Depends how heavy I can go with like. It would be like a deep sort of run for like R&D fixing. I think they would have to look at it from a very weird perspective. I don't know. I think like trying to balance out where we're at now in terms of power level with like a way to make all of the decks not lose in like the first opening hand sort of thing.
So you want to go back like 7 years?
Not even 7. I think 7 years. You still had similar issues, like
10.
But even 10. It's like so like, but it was less noticeable then.
Yeah.
Because people just played fairer decks.
Yeah.
Games weren't decided, as quickly. So it's like, and the hand traps one is prevalent too. So it's like no bouncing.
It barely existed 10 years ago. No, was that a thing? Was Valor even out yet?
10. Yeah, Valor was out 2012.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
barely.
It was like DD Crew Valor. Gamma 2015. Yeah, it was a couple. You didn't have like crazy ones, obviously. That was more like later end of the 2010s.
So there's no major thing you want to. There's major things you want to change, but nothing that's like super specific.
I think like maybe just like maybe the event structures, maybe like the pricing, probably a big one. Those are like the really obvious ones, but nothing like off the top of my head that seems crazy relevant. That no one else would think of, right? I think pricing's a big one though.
Yeah, monetary or something else?
It doesn't have to be monetary. I just think unique pricing is good. One Piece is doing a really good job with unique pricing.
Yeah.
Like I think that's serialized cards with just like iconic artwork or characters and stuff like that. They don't even have to be playable.
Oh, so like for example, top 4 regionals gets like a full art Ash or something like that.
I think the regionals are very skewed, especially because you have
so
Europe,
like YCS,
right? YCS, it would have to be YCS. Yeah. Because like the YCS prize card, it's not good enough. I like what they're doing with it, step in the right direction. But if you have something to reward people who are consistently topping, so like, do you guys in Vanguard have like the alt art pack? Like if you do well, you get like alt arts or like different foiling and stuff like that.
No, basically you have to get first and then you get a prize card.
Okay, sure. So you don't have okay. So like I know like some of the other, I think it's like mostly Bandai games. You have like an event pack, right? It's playable cards, different foiling, like different rarity, or maybe alt art or something. Like say you top 32, we'll give you one of those. That's exclusive enough, right? Yeah. Let's say it has enough unique cards to make the cards retain enough value with no short printing. It's like through top 32. So there's like 100 card set or something ridiculous, right? Obviously, probably not doable in that respect, but hypothetically. And then it's like you consistently top 32. We keep the value of the cards up because they're unique enough. Value of the pack is up. But if you're doing well and you just want to rarity chase, stuff like that, you just open it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like you have these cards in your deck. That's your max. These are max rarity that you've earned.
Yeah.
That's cool. And you probably don't feel as bad playing it as you would like a prize card, right? Like a Shonen Jump Crush or something like maybe Super Rare Diablosis or something in your extra
Minerva.
deck. Minerva, sure. Same thing too. I was picking stuff that's more relevant now. Minerva's not playable. I wish it was.
I'm still living back then. So.
Yeah, sure. I don't think that card was playable when it was legal. I had people cope with that.
Wasn't like Lightstorm Zombie?
I don't think Minerva it was more of grass. I don't think Minerva was like the reason that deck was playable though.
Okay.
That deck it was a helper. Nice helper. Yeah.
All right, cool. That's a cool idea. Thank you so much. Of course. Is there something that you want to shout out or anything like that?
I guess I do a podcast with Jeff and Ryan.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll put it in the.
We do it sometimes.
I'll put it in the description so everyone can check it out.
Team JLP or whatever else. Yeah.
Whatever else.
It's all the same shout outs. It's like everyone knows. Like, oh, Bohdan, he's on Team Jobber. It's like, yeah. I'd hope so.
Still?
And like even Jesse says it too. He's like, you can shout me out, but like it doesn't really matter.
At this point, everyone knows you anyway.
He's like, oh, you just do a deck profile, wear the jersey, it's fine.
Yeah.
I guess so. That's a good thing.
Gotta keep the sponsor happy.
Good team. Team owner. He just doesn't care. He's like, just go for it, man. Like, do whatever you want, as long as you think it's good. I'm like, oh, well, I mentioned you. That's fine, right?
Yep. All right. Cool. Thank you so much.
No worries.
I will see you soon. Ciao.